Want to know more about Moll Anderson? Check out our website, mollanderson.com, where you can also pick up her latest book, Seductive Tables for Two. Now let's get back to Moll.
Welcome back to the Moll Anderson Show. Well, every relationship has its problems, but are these problems normal? What is normal? Chrisanna Northrup wrote a great book because of these questions, and I'm excited to have her on the show now to tell us all about it. Hi, Chrisanna.
Hi, how are you?
I'm doing good. Listen, tell me, how did you come up with the idea for your book, The Normal Bar?
Well, in 14 years of my own relationship, I started questioning how happy I was, and I wanted a little bit more out of my relationship. I wanted more passion. I wanted more excitement. I wanted to laugh more with my husband.
Right.
It's kind of like you see in the movies. And I started questioning if my hopes were realistic or not.
And what did you find out?
I found out they are very realistic. It's the problem, I think, is that a lot of couples tend to not question that and just kind of coexist and work more as a business relationship more than lovers. And I think it's really important to know that you can be happier and more fulfilled, and it's up to you to change it.
I completely agree. You are preaching to the choir here. In the Moll Anderson house here, that's what we talk about. We talk
important.
It is so important.
And it's obtainable, and I think that's what I was wanting to know is, am I being unrealistic? Am I asking too much out of this relationship? Do I want too much? And how do I get there?
Well, and I think what happens is sometimes we get really closed off when we get busy. And I remember what it was like to be a new mom, and you're going through all this stuff, and you feel nervous about talking to anybody about it.
Yeah, absolutely. And you kind of more or less accept. You think this is a phase in your life, and this is just how it needs to be. But I questioned all that, and I think that's where this all came about. I wanted more, and I felt like for several years my husband and I were just kind of keeping our heads above water, and we were becoming more teammates more than we were losing the passion and the love that we once had, and I wanted it back.
Well, and don't you feel like that's, a lot of people use that as an excuse because they aren't happy? They just aren't plain happy?
Right, and it's really up to them to make that change. And unfortunately, what we see is couples that feel this way, somebody from the outside comes in and brings in that excitement and brings in a little bit.
And it doesn't take much.
It doesn't take much. And then you start to think, wow, the grass is greener on the other side, and wonder where it's truly right there underneath your nose. It's right there. You just need to talk about it.
Well, and I'm always telling people, too, that when we're raising our children, if they don't see us happy and they don't see mom and dad laughing and giggling and going on date night, then they're learning to think that's normal, that's what they should hope for, and that's not much to hope for if they're not seeing that.
Well, and I think in today's society, people don't really know what's what anymore. As far as back in the 1950s, men worked, women stayed home with the kids, and that was the norm. The media showed that. That's just everybody kind of knew their roles. But nowadays, nobody really knows what their roles are. Nobody really knows what works and what doesn't work. So I think this research that we did really establishes what's really going on behind closed doors, and more importantly, what the happier couples are doing. And I even questioned if they even existed. I thought, honestly, people were just pretending if they were.
Right. Well, what was your biggest shock when you were doing this research?
I think the one thing that really jumped out at me was, there was a lot, a lot. But kissing passionately, there's things that that just kind of fall by the wayside throughout the years, and you just don't think they're as important as they are. When we looked at our happiest couples that are extremely happy and sexually satisfied, they're still kissing passionately, and people just kind of let that go over the years. And if you want more passion, you need to be kissing passionately.
I agree.
It's got to be brought back in, and it's not that easy. Usually, what we found through the research is the reason why people aren't kissing passionately is because there's underlying issues that are going on that they're not addressing, or they're too busy, which is just ridiculous.
Too lazy to brush their teeth?
Yeah, you're not too busy.
No.
Make out.
No, I agree. We're big believers in kissing, and I do think it makes all the difference in the world because when you want to get
more intimate than anything else. It's
absolutely. Do you remember Julia Roberts in the movie Pretty Woman?
Yes.
And do you remember when she was trying her go at being a prostitute.
Yeah.
The rules were no kissing.
Right.
And the second she kissed him, it changed everything.
Yeah, it actually is a really good point.
You know, I never forgot that. I was like, wow, what? If they can't kiss, they can't kiss. But then it made so much sense because it's so intimate and it's so precious, you know?
Yeah, and 20, 25 years in, our couples that are extremely, they're still kissing passionately. They really are. And it's very, very important to the relationship.
Well, if you could give another tidbit of advice here to a few people out there listening, what would that be besides kissing?
Definitely communicating. The theme throughout the research was men and women want the same things out of relationships. And the numbers really show it. It drives it home. And it just like, wow, there it is, black and white. Everything from more variety sexually to hand-holding to romance. The problem is that neither one of the people are taking the initiative, the man or the woman. So it's just kind of this weird dynamic where you both want it, you both want more, but you kind of get set in this normal pattern where neither one of you introduce anything else or change it up. And it's just really, really important to change it up and address these things. And it makes a big difference. Little tiny changes, all the way to like calling each other pet names, make a big difference in the relationship, and that's what people need to understand. It's not rocket science. It's not that hard. Bringing the passion back in and making these changes. They're little tiny changes that go a long way.
Well, sometimes if they just take a minute and remember what were those things that got them excited when they were first dating, just those little things. They really do matter.
Yeah, when your partner calls you, you want to be excited to take their call. You don't want to cringe and be like, oh, what do they want now?
Oh, I know. I listen all the time. I will hear, I'll be standing in line or going somewhere, and I listen to women on cell phones talking to their husbands, and the tone and the disdain, and I just think, why are they even married?
Yeah, you got to bring in the best friend feeling again, instead of going to your girlfriends with your feelings and your secrets. Trust me, the guys want to hear it. They do want to hear it. They want to be that person. It doesn't feel good when you're going to other people, and when you treat your relationship as best friends again and do things that you enjoy again together, it makes a big difference, and it makes everything better. It makes making love better. I mean, you can't force passion. It's got to be there, and doing things together and enjoying each other's company makes a big difference.
Well, now tell me this: what is normal now for you?
Oh, I love that one. That's a great question. I got to say, I am the happiest I've ever been in my life. And all those things that I thought were probably being unrealistic, it's not. You can have a passionate, loving, fun relationship. I went from just survival mode to having everything I could ever dreamed of with my husband. And my husband is just as happy. We both discovered that we enjoy dirt biking together. Believe it or not, we do it as a family every weekend. We go to the desert. We have the times of our lives. We're best friends. We're lovers. It's just a totally different ball game. I fell in love with my husband all over again and could not be any happier. And I really hope that people look at this research in the book and just really think about what we're sharing with you and take it to heart and try some different things and everybody can have it. Well,
I'm so glad you wrote this book. I love it.
Thank you.
And I'm happy to know that I am so normal and so happy.
And it's really about being a happy normal.
Yes, I agree.
We lay out what's normal.
Yes.
But then we really want to see, what are these happy people doing? What are they doing differently?
Well, we'll call ourselves super normal.
Good. That's really good. I'm so glad to hear that. I love it.
I hope everybody goes out and buys this fabulous book, What is Normal? And I hope you all become super normal. Thank you.
Normal, the normal bar.
Thanks so much for joining me.
Thank you.
All right. Take care.
Take care.